Hey, what's going, cryptid heads, cryptid freaks, scary story freaks? Hey, before I get started with this, I want to show y'all a couple of the T-shirts that we put up on our Teespring store. That's a nice looking T-shirt, I think. That's pretty cool. It's got a good Bigfoot image. And then on the front it says Dixiecryptid, the podcast. I have no idea why I put the podcast, but it just sounded good. I found that little font on some website and I stuck it on the shirt. Here's a green one with a different image. You can find these in the link below my Teespring store. Here's a green one. I don't know if you can tell the color. And this is a fat ass size, by the way. They're sized to fit me. And there's the North American skunk ape. Having him a little smoke. That's a cool T-shirt, I think. And there are several others in the T-shirt shop, and I just want to let you guys know. One other thing, Yeti Bars is running a huge sale right now. Go over and check them out at yetibars.net or check out their Facebook page, Yeti Bars. Also, they've brought the Dreamsicle back. I'm actually using the Dreamsicle bar right now. I just ran low on my hippie number 1. It was a little bitty sliver, and I grabbed a Dreamsicle, and I smell like a citrus kind of a smell today. Yeah, even put deodorant on. So I wanted to let you know they're running a sale. Everything is, I can't remember what they said, 10% off maybe. I don't know how long the sale goes, but right now is a good chance to get some good buys on some Yeti Bar soap. Plus, at the end, when you check out, there'll be a little space for a discount code. Put in DC10, check out, you get another 10% off. YetiBars.net. Go check them out. All right. Whew, I'm out of breath after saying all that. I've got a few little stories here. Whew, I got a bunch of them. And you will get to see me stumble through these stories cold. This is not the usual way I do things, but sometimes when I'm real busy at work, I can paste a bunch of these stories on my word processor. And I can throw them up on my screen and I can read them to you just straight off the sheet. But these are some pretty interesting stories and I think you'll like this. This first one says I was living in Houston, Texas at the time, and I'll never forget when my mother told me over the phone about the UFO encounter she and my father and our next door neighbors experienced at our lake house in Lake Poinsett, South Dakota back in the early 90s. They were all sitting on our deck overlooking the lake, which was very wide and calm that evening. The sun was setting behind the house, and they were having cocktails with tiki lights lit on the deck. Mom was at the kitchen window handing out some beer. I like your mom. We need beer hander-outers. We always need beer hander-outers. Although we're grown men, we can get our own beer. But it's really nice when Mom hands out the beers. She was handing out some beers while the other three were chatting around the patio table when suddenly they all went quiet. Out over the lake, a few hundred feet away, was a strange oblong object floating above the water. Mom said it was very reflective, like polished aluminum, and it took a couple of minutes before they all acknowledged that they were all seeing the same thing. It floated silently toward them until it was almost at the end of the dock, and then it suddenly swooshed up into the sky and disappeared, leaving a violent turbulence in the water. My mother has passed away, but last weekend, May 24, 2021, I went to visit my father in Chanhassen, I think I pronounced that right, Chanhassen, Minnesota, at his assisted living center. He is 95 now, but he's completely sharp. And we were talking about the upcoming UFO report coming from Congress in June, and he retold the story to me about the lake encounter. He said it seemed like it was right in their faces, and that before it disappeared, It started to glow, a blinding white light. Then it just shot straight up into the evening sky, and it left the water by the dock splashing up into the air and then down again with a great violence. So I don't think this is some sort of fantasy. My father was a respected bank vice president, and our neighbors were respected merchants. These were rational, sober people. They obviously saw something real. And my father, near the end of his life, left me with this incredible story. Something I would never have dreamed he would admit to. Very good story. I like that. This this email is not really a story, but I just loved it, and I've had it a long time. He says, Cam, I'm a trucker. I love listening to you narrate all those stories. It makes the miles go by while I listen to the insane encounters from listeners. Since you're a down-to-earth fellow and not looking to get rich off YouTube or podcasting, wrong, I am looking to get rich off of YouTube. Anybody who does YouTube or podcasting wants to get rich off of it. However, I am a bit of a realist, and I understand that I'm a little tiny fish in a giant sea of really good podcasters, so I doubt I'll ever get rich off of it. Although I do make some pocket change from it. It's actually grown over the years. I don't mind telling y'all. I'm very happy with it. YouTube's a very generous company. And I've been able to pay some bills off, and I'm able to go on a vacation every once in a while. Although I have a sick dog now and we can't go anywhere. I know I'm going off on tangents here, but she's a diabetic dog, and she needs a shot a couple of times a day. And we have to watch what we feed her. We have to feed her specific times. She's laying right over here in front of me. And I just don't trust anyone with her. My wife's out of town right now. I'd be with her, but I need to stay with Roxy. And then we have 3 other wild, crazy Indian dogs, and they're, I just hate leaving them with people. But anyway, since you're not looking to get rich off of YouTubing or podcasting, I thought I'd take your advice and try those Yeti Bars. I just ordered the Dude and the dixiecryptid bars. My wife can't stand the smell of the store-bought soap. He says Dove soap, but any store-bought soap. She can't stand that soap that I use and always mentions how it reminds her of staying at her grandparents' house in the city. So I thought I'd surprise her and hopefully get her to say the same things your wife says to you. You smell so good. Here we go, and I'll let you know how they fare. Okay, I'm not mentioning names in this video, so I'm not going to tell his name, but if he hears it, he'll know who sent it. And I want to tell the man, thanks for sending that. And my wife really does say that. She's like, well, I'll take a shower in the morning with Yeti Bar soap, and it doesn't matter which bar I'm using. And we'll lay down, and she'll just be about to doze off, and I'll always reach over and I touch her hip, or I rub her side, or grab her butt, or whatever, and she'll roll over and she'll smell my arm or my shoulder, and she'll go, you smell just like you got out of the shower. I'm telling y'all, this Yeti Bar stuff is good. It's got a long-lasting scent, and it's not overpowering. But anyway, I thought I would share that email with you. Here's another story. Let's see, let me get my bearings here. I'm a 63-year-old retired prison guard from California. My wife and I have been listening to your channel since shortly after it began, and here's my scary story. 6 weeks ago, I went to bed, and I was fine. When I awoke the following morning, I was blind as a bat. I mean, completely blind. I couldn't see anything. My eye surgeon explains that my retina started bleeding due to a rare condition that sometimes occurs when significant weight loss is combined with excellent blood glucose control. I'm a type 2 diabetic, and my doctor always congratulates me on what a good job I do on controlling my blood glucose. I have also lost 60 pounds in the last 2 years. I'm now 61 and I weigh 195 pounds. I'm told the same thing happens to a small percentage of fat diabetics who have weight loss surgery. I've had 2 eye surgeries and have 6 or so more to go. I hadn't had our TV on since election night last November, After each eye procedure, I have to spend a lot of time on my back. Your channel has been a huge part of making this bearable. I've listened to your whole catalog of stories several times, but my wife swears I've listened to Steve Lilly. The Steve Lilly series 100 times now. Thank you for providing this content. It affects people in ways you can't anticipate. Apparently so, and thank you for saying that. I can see enough now to read my iPhone for short periods, and my surgeon is optimistic, but it's all going to take time. I'll be right here listening. Regarding my old job, the answer to the question I get asked most often is yes, I knew Charles Manson. Thanks again, and he signs Bob. I'm not going to tell you his last name. So that was a story, but it wasn't a creepy story. Let's see. Let's find another one here. My name is James, and I have no problem with you using it. The events I'm writing about are ongoing. For as long as I can remember, my family has been visited by what some may call shadow people. It's not like catching movement out of the corner of your eye and then nothing is there. These things, whatever they are, don't just disappear when seen. They actually hang around. They have never shown any aggression, and for some reason I have no fear of them. However, they have terrorized my pets over the years. The incident last night, for example, involved my cat waking me up and hissing and making noises and staring into the corner of the room at a black mass. I have no clue what they are or what they want from me or my family, but I thought some of your listeners could shed some light on why they have followed us even after moving several times throughout the years, and why they have attached themselves to us. So James, there's your story, and there's your plea to the audience to chime in on what they know about the shadow people or dark objects. He says he doesn't feel threatened and these things aren't aggressive, but he knows they're there and they're terrorizing his pets. I'm sure some of you know something about the shadow people. I don't know anything about them. But here we go with another story. This is from Kenneth. We had an interesting, and I should say an odd Christmas week here in Texarkana and the surrounding area. This past Wednesday afternoon, the sky started looking ominous and had a weird look to it, and it got scary outside when the rain started pouring down with some hail mixed in. Then the clatter of rain and hail changed to thumping. Something heavy was hitting the roof. I looked outside from my living room window and I was stunned to see fish falling from the sky. I then realized from the bad weather there must have been a tornado that dipped down into a lake just southwest of Texarkana and became a waterspout and sucked those fish up into it and carried them for miles. And when it weakened, it dropped shad and white bass for a good distance. I think he says the lake is Wright Patman. I wanted to send you a video and a news clip of the occurrence, but all I have is a cell phone, and I was experiencing some technical issues, so I can't send it at this time. He actually did send a link. You know, you hear about these events associated with hurricanes, but not in Texarkana. And by the way, the cats were having a heyday around my house. It was like manna from heaven for the cats, I bet. I've heard about that before. I always thought it was kind of legend, but apparently it really happens. I don't know if I'd like to see that. I don't think I'd like to have a bunch of shad and white bass hitting me in the head if I'm outside while it's raining. It's raining here right now. Okay, I have one more. I'm 57 years old and I was born and raised in Georgia. And I was a healthcare administrator for 25 years, and I have two beautiful kids. One is still in college at the University of Georgia, and the other has graduated. She's second in her class, if I can boast. Of course you can boast, and I would be proud about that too. I only express this because I am a normal person. Your recent post prompted me to send this email. I have a hard time reliving this, but here it goes. In my late 20s, I had an alien experience. I was sleeping one night with my then husband, and I woke up to see him levitating. Yes, he was levitating in the air. The details are slim, but I did see grays beside my bed. I know I was taken and later returned, and my husband was a fastidious clean freak, and he would vacuum every day. The next morning when I got up there were 3-toed footprints on the carpet all over the bedroom. I can't wait to ask some questions when I sit down at the round table with God. I think about that sometimes, and I think about when I meet the King of the universe, will he allow me to ask some questions? And like, I want to know about the dinosaurs and early, prehistoric things that we really can't seem to fully understand. I know paleontologists and anthropologists think they understand a lot, but I don't. I wonder how do you really know all those details of something that lived 65 million years ago, 150 million years ago? As you say, you're the one dating all the stuff. How do you know the things that you think you know? I watched a documentary last night, and it was about a canyon in New Mexico, the Chaco Canyon, or Chaco Canyon. And there are ruins there of a civilization, and I think it predates Christ. I think it's a BC date, maybe 850 BC, and I don't know how they know this. But they are, the Pueblo tribe are descendants from these people, according to the documentary. Well, there are these huge, almost perfectly built buildings all around this canyon. And after careful study and many years of research, they figured out that these, and they're kind of spotted all through the desert out there in New Mexico, in fairly close proximity. Some of them are 15 miles apart, some of them are 5 miles apart. But they all line up with some celestial body, like the sun or the moon or a star. And I could go into great detail. They were speculating on what these people were doing there. Why would they build these huge places, which were obviously quite populated in that time, in a place with no way to grow food? There's no water anywhere. They think that all of the food had to be imported from somewhere. And one of two things: either that's true, or maybe they could grow food during that time. That was a long time ago. Climate changes and weather changes and landscapes change over thousands of years. And I think this was 2,500 to 3,000 years ago. But maybe they could grow food there. Maybe there was water in that area at some point, and they were able to have a civilization there and be self-sustaining. Here's the point. I can't wait to sit down, and hopefully we will all get to ask questions and say, Lord, tell us about the dinosaurs, or tell us about Chaco Canyon. What were those people doing there? How long had all the tribes been in the Americas before the Spaniards and Portuguese came and pretty much conquistadors hit Central and South America and in North America? Hernando de Soto wreaked havoc in the southeastern United States. He thought there was gold here. Anyway, I'm just rambling. But I thought her last sentence in that story was pretty interesting. So anyway, there I go talking about it. Okay, like I said, I just wanted to do these. Here's a sample of the shirt. And these colors and sizes, this is, the other 2X's didn't fit me real well. The other 2X fat ass size. But these are premium t-shirts. They're a couple of $3 more than the old ones we had. They actually fit a little better. And, so yeah, okay. I'll end this podcast now. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching. All right.
The voice that I raise rattles the bones.